There are pains that do not scream. There are pains that hide behind a short smile, a prolonged silence, a posture that seems firm but carries accumulated tension. And every man, sooner or later, goes through this invisible territory where life weighs more than it should. But here there is a truth that few have the courage to face. It is not the pain that destroys the man. It is the interpretation he gives to it. It is the thought that says, "I won't be able to handle it. This is too much. Why me? I shouldn't be living this." The pain arrives first in the body, but it is in the mind that it takes up residence. And when the mind believes that there is no meaning, any challenge becomes torture. Therefore, right at the opening, I want to remind you of something that the Stoics knew with surgical precision. Life does not test those who are relaxed. It tests those who are in formation. Seneca said that no man is strong while everything is going well, because it is easy to appear calm when the sea is calm. What reveals the true nature of a man is the ability to remain whole when the waves begin to crash against his chest. Perhaps today you are living exactly that. It may be that the world around you is too heavy. It may be that family problems have worn you down. It may be that a loss has thrown you off balance. It may be that life is giving you more than you think you can carry, or it may be that you yourself have been disappointed with who you believed you were. And if this is your moment, then you are in the right place. Because this video is not about holding on like a blind soldier who takes blows without thinking. This video is about something else, growing within the pain, transforming each blow into structure, converting each fall into lucidity, understanding each wound as a warning, a call, a silent reorganization. This is what you will learn today. The 7 levels of emotional resilience, from the man who is completely dominated by internal chaos to the intangible man, the one who feels everything but gets lost in nothing. And before we continue, do something simple, because this guides the content here on the channel. Subscribe if you feel you are maturing as a man, and in the comments put your city and age. This is how I understand who is walking with me in this masculine reconstruction. Men who seek depth, emotional courage, and lucidity. Now breathe a little, release your shoulders, feel your whole body. The journey begins from the hardest truth, and it is this truth that takes you to the next level. Level 1. Dominated. The first level is not pretty, but it is real. It is when the man is completely swallowed by emotions. Everything weighs more than it should. Any problem becomes a giant. Any criticism becomes a stab. Any sign of rejection becomes a sentence. At this stage, the world seems like an enemy, and the body reacts as if it were always on the verge of an attack. The chest tightens, the breath disappears, the thought accelerates, the heart threatens to jump out of the mouth. There is no logic, there is survival, and survival wears you down. The man dominated by emotion cannot see beyond his own now. If he is sad, it seems that he will be sad forever. If he is anxious, it seems that he will never be able to breathe properly again. If he is afraid, it seems that fear dominates every corner of his life. He feels too small for the size of the world. Imagine someone who receives a simple criticism at work, a short sentence, something like, "You could have done it another way." At the level of emotional domination, this sentence becomes an internal earthquake. He starts to question everything. Am I incapable? Will they fire me? Does no one respect me? Have I disappointed everyone? The problem is not the sentence, it is the interpretation, and the interpretation is born from emotional weakness. Here, the pain is greater than the internal structure. Emotions drive the man as if he were a boat adrift in a storm. And there is another hard truth that needs to be said. As long as you are moved by what you feel, you will be a prisoner of what happens to you. If the world treats you well, you feel peace. If the world treats you badly, you sink. If life embraces you, you breathe. If life pushes you, you collapse. Resilience does not exist at this stage. There is no filter, there is no pause, there is no choice, but there is something fundamental, enough pain to awaken movement. Because a man only rises to level 2 when he realizes that he can no longer live being dragged by his own emotions. The pain of level 1 is unbearable, and that is what forces growth. This is where you understand. Either you dominate what you feel, or what you feel dominates you forever, and it is exactly this pain that opens the door to the next level. Level 2, the first control. Here begins the silent turnaround. After being swallowed by emotions in level 1, the man reaches the point where he realizes that he cannot continue living like a boat dragged by the tide. He feels he needs an anchor. And the first anchor is not strength, it is not courage, it is not positive thinking. It is breathing. Yes, breathing, the simplest and most neglected thing in masculine life. At level 2, the man still feels everything intensely. The chaos still exists. The anxiety still tightens the chest. The sadness still pulls the shoulders down. The anger still threatens to explode. But for the first time, he does something different. He does not react immediately. He breathes. That's all. But that's all it is. Breathing slows down the body slows down the mind, and the mind slows down the automatic impulse to act without thinking. Imagine someone about to respond to a message impulsively, dominated by the mixture of anxiety and pride. At level 1, he would have already typed a huge text, sent it, regretted it, and relived the scene 1,000 times in his head. But now, at level 2, he perceives the impulse and does not obey it. He closes his eyes for a few seconds, inhales deeply, exhales slowly, and only then decides what to do. This small interval exists between the weak man and the resilient man, because self-control is not born from brute force. It is born from the space between impulse and action. Here the man realizes something crucial. The body obeys before the mind. If the body calms down, the mind follows. If the body accelerates, the mind gets lost. That is why the Stoics said that self-mastery begins when the body bows to reason. Breathing is the first way to tame internal chaos. It is at this level that the man realizes that there is a difference between feeling and acting. Feeling is inevitable. Acting is a choice. And this millimeter of choice is the beginning of resilience. The man still falls, but falls less. Still suffers, but suffers with awareness. Still feels pain, but is no longer swallowed by it. Breathing becomes his first spiritual tool, the bridge to the next level. Block 4, Level 3, Pain as a Teacher. Here happens the deepest transformation of the journey, not because the pain decreases, but because the man finally understands that the pain speaks. At level 1, he suffers. At level 2, he breathes. But at level 3, he begins to interpret. Pain ceases to be a monster and becomes a message. He stops asking, "Why is this happening to me?" and starts asking, "What is this trying to show me?" This is the moment when pain changes position. From enemy, it becomes teacher, and a rigorous teacher, but fair. The man realizes that anger reveals violated boundaries, sadness reveals unhonored losses, anxiety reveals unorganized futures, loneliness reveals unoccupied voids, frustration reveals unrealistic expectations, guilt reveals ignored values, and this completely changes the nature of the emotional experience. Imagine a man who ends a relationship and instead of blaming the woman, fate, bad luck, or the universe, he finally looks inward and asks, "What in this pain is trying to reorganize my life?" Maybe it's the lack of self-care. Maybe it's emotional immaturity. Maybe it's the fear of being alone. Maybe it's emotional dependence. Maybe it's simply the natural end of a cycle. Pain always points to something, and when the man starts to listen, he grows. At this level, suffering ceases to be waste. It becomes information, it becomes guideline, it becomes emotional map. the man realizes that accepting pain is not giving up. Accepting is stopping fighting against the inevitable and starting to reorganize what can really be changed. The pain does not disappear, but changes function. It ceases to be a weight and becomes a guide. And as the man learns to interpret this guide, he advances to the next stage of resilience, emotional elasticity. Level 4, the elastic man. Here begins true resilience, not the romantic, heroic, cinematic resilience, but the silent, mature resilience that is born when the man learns to bend without breaking. Because what destroys a man is not the weight of pain, it is the internal rigidity that prevents him from adapting to it. At level 4, the man understands something that changes his relationship with suffering. Life will not go easy so that you can handle it. You are the one who needs to learn to adjust, to continue. He discovers that resilience is not brute resistance. Resilience is flexibility with structure. It is knowing when to give in, when to retreat, when to wait, when to recalculate, without losing the axis. Imagine a tall tree in the middle of a storm. It does not face the wind with total rigidity. It bends, it leans, it dances in the chaos, and that is why it remains alive. The elastic man works the same way. When life tightens, he does not collapse, he adjusts. When facing a loss, he does not fall apart. He reorganizes. When suffering an injustice, he does not turn into resentment. He observes, absorbs, and follows. When the routine tightens, he does not drown in frustration. He redistributes his own forces. Suffering does not disappear, but it also does not destroy. It just passes through, shaping, stretching, refining. At this stage, the man learns to respect the limits of his own body, his own mind, his own energy. He realizes that he does not need to win everything at once. He just needs not to break. And to not break, sometimes it is necessary. Rest before continuing, recalculate before insisting, breathe before reacting, wait before acting, ask for help before collapsing. Resilience is not hardness. It is applied emotional intelligence. And the elastic man understands that his strength lies precisely in not breaking under pressure, but in allowing it to mold him into something greater. When he reaches this understanding, pain ceases to be an enemy and becomes a tool. And it is this tool that will take him to the next level, transforming pain into strength. Level 5, pain as energy. This is the level where the man discovers his most silent power, the ability to convert pain into movement. Here, suffering is no longer a burden, it is fuel. The man no longer runs away from pain, does not victimize himself, does not paralyze himself. He uses it. Did they reject him? He transforms rejection into focus. Did they humiliate him? He transforms humiliation into self-growth. Did they abandon him? He transforms abandonment into independence. Did they betray him? He transforms the wound into a more accurate vision. Did they fail him? He transforms frustration into discipline. Pain becomes an energetic source, perhaps the purest of all, because nothing strengthens the masculine spirit more than going through what seemed impossible and realizing that, inside, there is something unbreakable. Imagine a man who loses something important, a job, a relationship, an opportunity. At level 1, this would destroy him. At level 2, he would breathe. At level 3, he would learn. At level 4, he would adjust. But at level 5, he would grow. He looks at his own suffering and says, if this didn't destroy me, then it will build me. And he builds. He starts to train more, to study more, to delve deeper into his own path, to refine his character, to reorganize his priorities, to become someone who honors his own pains, transforming them into emotional musculature. This is the level in which the man realizes that each blow he received is a brick in his own inner temple. Nothing was in vain, nothing was wasted, nothing was useless. Well-directed pain becomes energy. And energy becomes movement, and movement becomes strength, silent strength, mature strength. Strength that no one sees being born, but everyone feels when he enters. From this level on, the man ceases to be someone that life knocks down and becomes someone that life forges. And this forge leads him to the next stage, imperturbability. Level 6, imperturbable. True strength does not appear when everything is calm. It appears when everything is collapsing, and even so, the man remains whole. Level 6 is the stage of the imperturbable, the one in which the world can stir, people can provoke, problems can arise, but nothing invades the man's internal space. He has not become cold, he has become clear. He has not become hard, he has become deep. He has not become indifferent, he has become stable. Here the man understands something essential. It is not the emotion that destroys, it is the attachment to the drama of the emotion. He still feels, but he does not get lost in what he feels. He still suffers, but he does not contaminate himself with suffering. He still faces challenges, but he does not allow challenges to steal his lucidity. Imagine someone criticizing this man harshly. In the past, this would devastate him. Today, he listens, filters, analyzes, and returns the weight only of what makes sense. The rest he lets fall to the ground like dust. He does not react to what is small. He does not fight with what is useless. He does not waste energy on what does not contribute. He dominates himself with surgical precision. Imperturbability is the art of not handing over control of one's own heart to others. It is the ability to perceive that you can choose where you put your attention, your energy, and your peace. And when the man arrives here, he becomes rare. Rare because he lives in a world that lives on reaction, and he lives on intention. The man of level 6 has learned to swim, as the Stoics said. The waves do not sink the man who has learned to swim. And now he crosses storms with the serenity of someone who knows where his own axis is. But there is a level beyond imperturbability, a level where the man not only endures life, he transcends its impact. Level 7, intangible. If level 6 is stability, level 7 is transcendence. Here the man does not become inaccessible, he becomes untouchable in the noblest sense of the word. Nothing external can enter without permission. Nothing external shapes the internal. Nothing external defines who he is. At this stage, the man reaches a type of serenity that almost seems spiritual, not because he stopped feeling, but because he learned to feel with absolute discernment. Pain arrives, he recognizes it, welcomes it, absorbs it, learns and lets it go. Suffering arrives, he understands what it wants to teach and transforms it into wisdom. Chaos arrives, he observes it as one observes the weather, something that happens outside, not inside. He reaches a state in which nothing steals his identity, neither pain, nor joy, nor loss, nor praise, nor failure, nor success. The intangible man is not made of hardness, he is made of understanding. He understood that everything passes, everything changes, everything transforms, and because he understands this, he does not cling to anything with despair, neither to what hurts nor to what satisfies. Imagine a man who suffers a clear injustice. In the past, this would destroy him. Today, he faces injustice with lucidity. He responds with integrity, not with despair. He acts with wisdom, not with fury, because he knows that losing himself is always worse than losing any external dispute. This is the man who inspires just by existing, not because he speaks beautifully, but because he carries a calm that seems ancestral, a strength that seems old, a maturity that seems indestructible. Here, pain ceases to be pain. It transforms into clarity, and suffering ceases to be suffering. It transforms into inner light. The intangible man is the one who has already understood the game of life, and nothing else can take him out of himself. Resilience is not born in comfort. It is born in the blows. It is born in the long silences. It is born in the nights when the chest seems too small for so much pain. It is born in the moments when you thought you would not be able to bear it, but you did. In situations that seemed unbearable, but you remained. In the times when life broke you, but you did not get lost. And now, looking back, you realize each level of this journey was a step of the man you are becoming. At level 1, you were dominated. Emotions swallowed you, paralyzed you, took your breath away. And even so, you kept breathing, even when you thought you couldn't. At level 2, you found the first point of control, your own breath. And it was there, in the simple act of breathing, that you discovered the first portal of strength. A man who controls his own breathing is never completely lost. At level 3, you transformed pain into a teacher. You stopped asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you started asking, "What is this happening to me for?" This subtle change changed everything, because you started to grow within the pain, not against it. At level 4, you became elastic, flexible without being weak, malleable without being molded, able to adjust to the impact without breaking as you broke before. At level 5, you found the silent strength. You transformed rejection into focus, loneliness into clarity, pain into direction. You discovered that all suffering has energy and that it can be converted into power if you are awake. At level 6, imperturbability began. Nothing took you off your axis. Nothing stole your lucidity. Nothing could drag you back into chaos. You stopped reacting and started choosing, and at level 7, the highest of all, you became intangible. Not invincible by hardness, but invulnerable by understanding. Life stopped destroying you because you stopped clinging to everything. Emotions stopped dominating you because you stopped confusing yourself with it. Pain stopped breaking you because you stopped getting lost inside it. This is true resilience, the ability to feel everything without being destroyed by anything. And perhaps the most important point of this journey is this: resilience does not make you impermeable, it makes you deep. It does not make you cold, it makes you luminous. It does not make you distant, it makes you whole. The goal was never not to feel. The goal was always to feel with maturity, to feel with clarity, to feel with meaning, to feel with access, because the resilient man is not the one who does not suffer. It is the one who knows what to do with suffering. Now, before you close this video, do something for yourself. Subscribe to the channel to continue walking on this journey of emotional strength, masculine maturity, and inner lucidity. Here, each video is a piece of the construction of the man you are becoming. And leave a sign in the comments. Write resilience, not as an ornament, not as a pretty word, but as a reminder steel is only born after the fire, and you are learning to cross this fire without getting lost, and without ceasing to be you.